Okay, so today we're diving into something pretty big in the world of cancer treatment.
Definitely big and only getting bigger.
Immunotherapy. Like, seriously, imagine your own body learning to fight back against cancer.
Yeah, it's like giving your immune system a serious upgrade,
Huh?
turning it into this powerful force.
Exactly. And the really cool part is this isn't some far-off idea. It's already happening.
We're seeing some really amazing results.
But we're not just talking about immunotherapy in general today. We're zeroing in on a specific piece of this puzzle.
A really fascinating piece.
Something called 4-1BB.
That's right, 4-1BB.
Yeah.
It's like discovering this hidden switch on your immune system, and when you flip it, whoa, things get interesting.
An upgrade to the upgrade, huh? All right, so for everyone just tuning in, let's break this down.
Yeah, what exactly are we talking about when we say 4-1BB?
And how does it actually work to fight cancer? You know what I mean? Turbocharging the immune system.
Yeah.
What does that even look like?
So picture this.
Yeah.
You've got these cells in your immune system.
Like little soldiers, right?
Exactly. They're patrolling your body 24/7, looking for anything that doesn't belong.
Guarding the fortress. But where does 4-1BB fit into all of this?
Well, imagine 4-1BB as like this special piece of equipment.
Okay.
It sits on the surface of these immune cells, specifically T cells, NK cells, and dendritic cells.
Those are some of the big players, right? The elite force.
Exactly. They're the ones we really want on our side in this fight.
Okay, so the 4-1BB is on these cells. What does it do?
So it's not just on there all the time. It's more like an on-demand system. It only gets activated when there's an actual threat.
So it's like a secret weapon.
Exactly. It's like having a hidden arsenal that only comes out when you absolutely need it.
Okay, that's cool. So it's on these cells, but it's off until it's needed. What flips the switch? What activates it?
It needs a specific key, a partner in crime, if you will.
Sounds kind of dramatic.
Well, it's all about this very precise interaction. You see, there's this other molecule called 4-1BBL. It's a ligand.
Ligand, that sounds complicated.
Not really. Think of it like a lock and key. 4-1BB is the lock. 4-1BBL is the key.
Okay, I'm with you.
When they connect, when that key slides into the lock, that's what activates 4-1BB.
And what happens then?
Boom. It's like turning on a switch. This connection sends a signal throughout the entire immune cell.
So it's not just sitting on the surface anymore?
Nope. That signal goes deep inside, telling the cell to gear up, get ready for battle.
So the whole cell gets the message, time to fight.
You got it. And this isn't just some random vague message. This signal triggers very specific things within the cell.
Like what?
We're talking about intricate signaling pathways. These are like the communication highways inside the cell.
Keeping everything running smoothly.
Exactly. Except in this case, these pathways are getting amplified, getting put on high alert.
Because of that initial 4-1BB activation?
Precisely. We're talking about pathways like NF-key, MAPK, PI3K ACT. These are some of the big players in how a cell functions, how it responds to threats.
Okay, I'll be honest, those names don't mean a whole lot to me.
That's right. Think of them like this. They're the internal communication systems of the cell. They tell the cell what to do, whether it's making more proteins dividing or even self-destructing when necessary.
So these pathways are how the cell knows what's going on and how to respond.
Exactly. And when 4-1BB is activated, these pathways get kicked into overdrive. They tell the cell, hey, we've got a serious threat to deal with. Time to ramp up our defenses.
So these pathways are getting all amped up. The cells are getting the message loud and clear. But what happens then? What changes in the immune system strategy?
Well, one of the most significant changes is how it affects a particular type of immune cell called CD8 plus T cells.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those. They're like the special forces of the immune system, right?
That's a great way to put it. CD8 plus T cells are highly trained killers. They're the ones that can directly target and destroy cancer cells.
So does 4-1BB make them even tougher?
Exactly. When 4-1BB is activated on these CD8 plus T cells, it's like giving them even better weapons and armor.
Okay, so they're stronger. But how does that actually translate to fighting cancer more effectively?
Well, for one thing, it makes them even better at recognizing cancer cells.
So they're less likely to miss their target.
Exactly. They become much more accurate. And on top of that, 4-1BB activation helps them infiltrate tumors more effectively.
So they can get right into the heart of the enemy's territory.
Exactly. They can penetrate those defenses and launch a more effective attack.
Okay, so we've got better recognition, better infiltration, and then what?
Then, bam, they release these toxic molecules that destroy the cancer cells.
Wow, so it's like upgrading every aspect of their fighting ability.
Precisely. And here's where it gets really interesting. Remember we talked about how 4-1BB is like an on-demand system, activated only when needed?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out this has another incredible benefit. It helps the immune system remember those cancer cells for the future.
Wait, really? Like it develops a memory specifically for that cancer?
You got it. Activating 4-1BB helps generate something called memory T cells.
Memory T cell.
Yep. These memory T cells are like sentinels. They stay in the body long after the initial threat is gone, always on the lookout for any sign of those specific cancer cells coming back.
So if those cancer cells ever try to make a comeback, the immune system is ready to shut them down immediately.
Exactly. It's like giving your body a set of blueprints so it knows exactly what to look for and how to fight back.
Okay, so not only are we talking about boosting the immediate immune response, but also potentially preventing cancer from coming back in the future.
Exactly. It's a 2-for-1 deal.
That's incredible. But how do we actually activate 4-1BB in a way that we can control?
That's where things get really exciting. Scientists have been working on something pretty remarkable.
What's that?
They've developed molecules called 4-1BB agonists.
4-1BB agonists. Say that 5 times fast.
Right. So what are these agonists? Well,
Yeah.
imagine designing a key, a perfectly engineered molecule that fits right into that 4-1BB lock we talked about earlier.
Okay.
That's essentially what a 4-1BB agonist is. It's often a monoclonal antibody that's specifically designed to bind to and activate 4-1BB.
So we're kind of tricking the immune system into thinking there's a threat prompting it to activate 4-1BB and bring out the big guns.
You got it. It's like giving the immune system that extra push it needs to target and eliminate cancer cells.
That's amazing. And are there different types of these agonists?
There are. And one that's generating a lot of buzz in the research world is called 1D8. It's a specific type of 4-1BB agonist that has shown some really promising results in preclinical studies.
Preclinical studies meaning what? Like in the lab?
Exactly. They're testing it out in cells and animals, and so far the results have been really encouraging, especially when it comes to some really tough-to-treat cancers like melanoma.
Melanoma, that's skin cancer, right?
That's right. And it's one of the most aggressive types of skin cancer out there. But in these studies, 1D8 was able to shrink tumors and even prevent the cancer from spreading.
Okay, so it's not just talk, it's actually showing results.
Exactly. Now, it's important to remember that these are still early studies.
Right, it's not like it's available as a treatment just yet.
Right. But the potential is definitely there.
So we've got these agonists like 1D8 that can activate 4-1BB, which in turn supercharges those CD8 plus T cells and helps the immune system remember cancer cells. How does this all play out in the actual fight against cancer, though? It seems like a lot of different moving parts.
It is. It's a complex process, but think of it like this. It's a multi-pronged attack on cancer.
Okay, I like that. A multi-pronged attack.
So you've got the enhanced T cells we talked about. They're like the frontline soldiers directly engaging with the cancer cells and taking them out.
Okay, that's one prong.
Then you've got the NK cells. Remember, those are like the vigilant guards constantly patrolling and eliminating any cancer cells that might try to slip through the cracks.
Now, even if some cancer cells try to hide or escape, the NK cells are there to clean up.
Precisely. And of course, let's not forget about the memory T cells. They're providing that long-term surveillance, ready to sound the alarm if those cancer cells try to make a comeback weeks, months, even years down the line.
It's like we're not just fighting the current battle, but preparing for the future as well.
Exactly. It's about providing a comprehensive defense strategy.
This is incredible. But cancer cells are known for being pretty resilient. They're tricky, always evolving. Can 4-1BB agonists actually help overcome that?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
One of the amazing things about 4-1BB agonists is that they seem to be really good at helping the immune system overcome tumor resistance, which is one of the biggest challenges in cancer treatment.
What do you mean by tumor resistance?
So cancer cells are masters of disguise and manipulation.
Okay.
They can actually evade the immune system by hiding from it or even suppressing its powers.
So they're like, nope, you can't see me.
Exactly. They can put up these shields that make it really difficult for the immune system to recognize and attack them.
So how do we break through those shields?
That's where 4-1BB agonists come in. They're like that extra boost of energy that the immune system needs to break through those defenses, block those suppressive signals, and basically say, not today, cancer.
It's like giving our immune system the tools and resilience it needs to fight back, even against the most stubborn opponents. This is incredible. What about combining this approach with other cancer treatments, though? Have scientists looked into that? Combining forces?
Yeah, like some kind of immunotherapy dream team.
Right, exactly. Imagine this. We've already got our 4-1BB agonists, revving up the engine.
Putting the pedal to the metal.
Right. Now let's add checkpoint inhibitors into the mix.
Okay. Checkpoint inhibitors. I've heard of those. They're a big deal in immunotherapy too, right?
Huge.
Yeah.
They work by basically cutting the brakes on the immune system.
Cutting the brakes.
Yeah. You see, our immune systems have these built-in checkpoints. These checkpoints are important because they prevent the immune system from going haywire, attacking our own bodies.
Right. Autoimmune diseases and all that.
Exactly. But sometimes those checkpoints can be a little too cautious. They hold the immune system back from attacking cancer cells effectively.
So checkpoint inhibitors take the brakes off, allowing the immune system to attack more aggressively.
Exactly. And when you combine that with 4-1BB agonists, which are like stepping on the gas pedal.
Whoa, you're talking about unleashing the full force of the immune system.
Precisely. It creates this powerful synergy where you're not just activating the immune cells, but also removing the obstacles that were holding them back.
Okay, that makes sense. But I have to ask, with great power and all that, are there any downsides to this kind of immune system boost?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It kind of is.
And the honest answer is there can be side effects.
Like what?
Well, one of the main concerns with any kind of immunotherapy is the potential for an overactive immune response.
Because we're basically telling the immune system to go into overdrive.
Right. Exactly. And sometimes that overdrive can lead to inflammation in different parts of the body.
Inflammation meaning?
So basically, the immune system can get so fired up that it starts attacking healthy tissues along with the cancer cells.
Oh, so it's like it's not always great at telling the difference between the good guys and the bad guys.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
It's all about balance.
Okay, so there's this potential for side effects, but are scientists doing anything to address that?
Absolutely. This is a major focus of ongoing research. They're working on things like refining the dosage of these treatments.
So finding that sweet spot where it's effective, but with minimal risk.
Exactly. They're also exploring ways to deliver these therapies more precisely, like targeting them directly to the tumor site, so they have less of an effect on the rest of the body.
That makes sense. So it's all about minimizing those off-target effects.
Precisely. And there's also research into combining 4-1BB agonists with other therapies that might help control those unwanted immune reactions.
So it's like a multi-pronged approach to managing the side effects as well.
Exactly. It's all about finding the right combination of therapies that can maximize the benefits while minimizing the risks.
It sounds like the future of 4-1BB therapy is incredibly promising.
It really is. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible with immunotherapy, and 4-1BB is definitely one of the most exciting areas of research.
It's amazing to think that our own bodies might hold the key to conquering cancer.
It is remarkable, isn't it?
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the nitty-gritty of how 4-1BB works to its potential to revolutionize cancer treatment. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
I think the key takeaway here is that 4-1BB research is opening up incredible new possibilities in the fight against cancer. It's about harnessing the power of the immune system, training it to become a more effective weapon, and potentially even preventing cancer from coming back in the future.
A powerful weapon indeed, and one that could change the lives of millions. So as we wrap up this deep dive into 4-1BB, here's something I want everyone listening to ponder. Could 4-1BB agonists be the key to unlocking long-term remission or even a cure for certain cancers?
It's a question that researchers are working tirelessly to answer.
And every new discovery brings us one step closer to that future.
Absolutely.
It's been an incredible journey exploring the world of 4-1BB and its potential to reshape the future of cancer treatment. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious.